consecutive, like if I record. Yeah. So, good evening, everybody. And today we have with us a young and budding writer and poet. Her name is Pratiksha Karn, and she belongs to Hazaribagh, from where I am. Like I was born and brought up in Hazaribagh. So, and I did all my studies. So there is some commonality, because when she started her schooling, she started from Carmel and then went to Vivekanand to do her +2. And then she did her bachelor's in English literature from St. Columbus. And it's the same college from where I did my biotechnology studies. So after that, it's all her journey and how she has planned. And it's like she has been writing for long. So let me, it will not be a justice if I don't introduce her formally. So let's do it in the way we do at Knowlerians. So the platform is Knowlerians, and can you see my slide? And today, when we are going to start on the focus of the talk, which is literature. So I take the quote from the 2009 Nobel Prize Literature winner. And she says that literature speaks with everyone individually. And I truly believe this, that साहित्य जो है वो मतलब one-on-one आप जो उसको पढ़ने वाला है और जो वो बुक है उसके बीच एक कम्युनिकेशन, एक कनेक्शन एस्टैब्लिश करती है. और she says that literature speaks with everyone individually. It is a personal property that stay inside our heads. ये जो है ये हमारी निजी संपत्ति है. जब हम कोई किताब पढ़ते हैं तो हमारी एक निजी संपत्ति है जो हमारे साथ हमेशा हमारे मन मस्तिष्क में रहती है, चाहे कोई भी किताब पढ़े. इसलिए किताब को शायद सबसे अच्छा दोस्त भी कहा गया है. And nothing speaks to us as forcefully as a book, which expects nothing in return other than that we think and we feel. And with this quote, I want to open up today's session, or you may say the weekend session, where we have two speakers. Actually, today I have Pratiksha, who is a young and upcoming writer, and she has really done very well in a short span of time and created a niche for herself the way she writes. So she will be talking on becoming and being an author. And then we have Nick, like on Sunday, Subhasis Das. So he is an independent researcher. He works on a very different aspect of megalith, but he is also a poet and an author. And he has written many books on Buddhism. His poetry has a different touch. So he will be with us. But let's go to today's program. And in today's program, I would like to invite Pratiksha for her talk on becoming and being an author. And I want to start the program with a quote and a philosophy, a Japanese philosophy, which is called Ikigai, which says that philosophy is all about the secret of how you live a long life and a happy life. तो वो कार्य कौन सा जो तुमको प्यारा है बहुत, हुनर वो कौन सा जिसमें तुम पारंगत हो, क्या दुनिया की जरूरत उससे पूरी होती और उपाय आजीविका का तर्क संगत हो, चलो वो प्रश्न चार का हम उत्तर ढूंढे, जो मिल गए तो सुख दुख में भी विचलित न हो, हर एक कर्म फिर उस ईश की अभिव्यक्ति हो, लाभ और हानि में कभी फिर चिंतित न हो. तो इन शब्दों के साथ इकागाई इज अ फिलॉसफी कि आप अपने जीवन में कैसे बैलेंस और कैसे लॉन्ग लाइफ ला सकते हैं. और इसमें है कि अगर शॉर्ट में कहें तो अगर आप पैशन और प्रोफेशन को अगर आप मिला देते हैं और दोनों को अगर साथ लेके चलते हैं, तो वो जो जैसे कि तेंदुलकर हैं, क्रिकेट खेलते हैं तो वो खुल के क्रिकेट खेलते हैं. वो ये नहीं सोचते हैं कि उनका एकेडमिक बैकग्राउंड क्या होगा या उनको एक बैंक क्लर्क की जॉब करनी है. तो इस तरह का जो ये होता है कि जब आप अपने फ्लो के साथ, यू आर इन योर नेचुरल सेल्फ, then you tend to outsmart and you perform very well. And I think Pratiksha is a good example of this, where she has chosen her passion and she is into writing at a very tender and young age. And she has been her writing career is, maybe she started a little bit early. It has been almost 6 years, and her skill has a firm grip of criticism, observation on nature and mankind. And if you say observation of nature and mankind, I would say that a writer is somewhat similar to a scientist also, because they have a keen sense of observation. Satires, fate, love, and patriotism. Her debut book, which is called The Logged Episode, which she will be talking about a little bit, has a sincere touch of her imaginative art and soul-stirring words to express poetry. She is pursuing, as I told you, that she is pursuing a master in English from VBU, and she has also won the title of World Poetic Star, and she has many titles on her uh, like on her CV. So let's welcome Pratiksha, and I would like to show a picture of different titles and different awards that she has won. And to open up the session, I again want to start that why I write. I don't know why you write, but you will tell us today. मैं लिखता हूं आपसे संवाद के लिए, और लिखता हूं दर्द से निजात के लिए। कलम उठाता हूं मैं होशो हवास में, कागज पे भटकता हूं सुकून के तलाश में। कभी कहानी, कभी कविता, कभी एक सुक्ति है, सहारा शब्दों का लेता हूं जब कोई रग जो दुखती है। और मैं जो लिखता हूं, मैं लिखता हूं, लेकिन मैं कोई मतलब आई डोंट हैव एनी बुक ऑन माय नेम, बट देर आर, मतलब मैं ऐसे कहता हूं कि मैंने कोई किताब नहीं लिखी है, लेकिन बहुत सारे किताबों ने मुझे लिखा है। तो इन शब्दों के साथ मैं आमंत्रित करता हूं प्रतीक्षा को कि वो अपनी बात कहें। वेलकम।
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank Norwegian's team for giving me the opportunity to share my literary skills. So it was not a easy. It was not an easy way for me to select this because I started very earlier in my life.
Yes.
I wrote my first poem since when I was in class 8, and gradually I got opportunities. I seek for different opportunities, and I never neglect anyone. So no matter how hard it was, it was really very tough to go with the deadlines of publishers as well as my exam date. But with the course of time, everything went good. And for now, also I'm working on a project related to spirituality as well as I'm working on two projects simultaneously. Like one is based on stories, like it contain 12 stories in one book, and other it's about spirituality. And earlier in 2019, I published 2017 I published this book. The name is The Logged Episode, and it contains 30 poems, and each poem has different genre, different field. When you go through the book, you'll find that you'll find different field of explanation. Like there's feminism, there is a criticism, there is a patriotism. There's a lot of genre which I keep on experiencing my work through it. So, and my first story was published in Untold Emotions, which is completely related to poverty. And generally, all my stories are from my own geographical location, that is Hazaribagh.
Mm-hmm.
So, at a point of time when I get a thought related to something this book is all about poverty, a life of a woman who works from a life of a woman who work from house to house just to earn a minimal amount. So this is completely related to that neglected section of society. This is a story of a woman, especially. The story. The title of the story is The Negligent Peel, and the story contains all the female characters, how they work house to house, or they used to do some little bit of construction purposes just to earn like minimal amount, which
mm,
society is not at all praising,
mm,
and which is not good for humanity, I guess.
mm.
So
So,
the
Pratiksha,
stories.
let me ask you something. Like when you started with your first project, or
Yeah.
did it appear that you want to become when did it start that you want to become an author or a poet, or it was like coming naturally to you, or how was your what were you observing when you think of writing? Like how do you go about it? Tell me about your first project, like the locked episode, how it happened.
So gradually, this book, The Locked Episode, contains all my like write-ups from class 8 to 12. Like it was like it came randomly. Like
Mm,
there was a thought. Like always, what I have is I get a thought related to anything which is going around, or an event or an
mm,
incident.
mm.
So whatever I feel like, I just want to write it. If I don't write it, comes to my head and bangs my head. So it cannot.
Okay.
Yeah, it is like
Yeah.
it's unbearable. So
Yeah.
I write it, and I gradually, with the course of time, I see that people reading me are getting my thoughts accordingly. So
Yes.
I selected this field as my profession, and
Mm-hmm.
I went through it. I am doing it. I'm like my graduation was based on literature. My
Mm,
master degree is based on literature, and
mm.
further I will do PhD on literature.
That's great. But let's go to the book, and if there are some of your favorites one that you can recite and you can explain how that poetry has happened. Like for me, when I write, I get triggered by, like as you said, that there are events that trigger you,
Yeah.
and then you go back and like scribble in your notebook or do
Yes.
something. It's so so how first of all, let's go with your first poetry. What was it that you wrote like 6 7 years or 8 years back, and then how it has
Yes.
evolved, and some of your favorite ones that you can read for the audience. It will be good to know. Yes.
Yes. Sure. First, one of the first poem was, this was my first poem.
Yeah.
One more time. So I
One
would
more time.
like to read it. So one more time. One more time, the roots are shaken. One more time, the future is taken. Standing in the contrast enclosed, the source trust is both prose. One more time, the sound of alarm. One more time, the terrible harm. And panic told to speak aloud, as a dread told to speak no loud. One more time, adverse are faced. One more time, the strength is chased. This odd clash carries some guts. One more time, the stripe is added. One more time, new spirit is needed. Power changes on the suffered dream. Larger the courage to revive the dream. One more time, the weekend is resolved. One more time, a puzzle to solve. Now the assumption of deadly calm. Henceforth, the trauma kills the calm. So it's all about like the doldrums of a mind who
Yeah.
wants to do many things, like who wants to do many things, but but the streets are not open, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like compacted thoughts of somebody, like obviously me, who
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
That
a
was good.
compacted.
That was good.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was.
Yeah. Nice.
So gradually, I wrote 546 poems till now, and
Okay.
17 stories,
Mm-hmm.
two journal, and one article draped
Mm-hmm.
on, based on this, like the rape culture which is going on in the
Yeah.
society,
Yeah.
which is
Mm.
so. So I just test myself in different genre of writing, and
Yeah. So tell us
grad-
a little bit about your short stories that you have written, the untold stories, and you gave a glimpse of like that it has a lot of female character
yeah.
in the story. So are there like just I have a curiosity. Are there people around you who inspire, or are there real life character who are being portrayed in your stories, or what's it?
It's a blend of reality and imagination. Not everything is reality and not everything is about imagination. Like some
Okay.
point of the theme of the story is not imagination, it's reality, but
Yes.
the characters are like imaginary.
Okay.
Like the story, the negligent peel has three characters, three female,
Yeah.
who all the three female belongs to like weaker section of society. One works in a one works house to house, one works in a construction purposes, and one who is like just a teenage. And during her study, she is like being married, and this is all happen. This is what happening to them. Like they have no choice of their own. So this is what I reveal in the story with the exact geographical location. By the way, my story, every of my story, each of the story
Yeah.
has like same geographical location, like Hazaribagh, Jharkhand, or
Yes.
related to Jharkhand.
Yeah, that's good to know. But like many of the young or budding writer would like to know that how difficult it is to publish, or how difficult it is to get a publisher to publish your book, and how do you approach, or what's the way you go about it?
So first of all, you need to search for good publisher because there are a lot of publishers who are like not like authentic. So you just need to search for good publishers, and you need to keep mailing your best write-ups so that they select those things, because it's not easy when during the start it was like, for me it was like very low confidence because I have never done such things in my
Yes.
like life. So it was
Yeah.
so it was a it was a scary confidence, I guess. Like it was a scary thing, but
Yeah.
gradually I gained a lot of confidence because people started reading me. My write-ups got selected for publishing, and yeah, with the course of time, everything went on and on.
Okay. So you like it's kind of a task that one has to do, like approach different publishers. And
Yeah.
like usually when you write this kind of a story or poetry books, it's not like a very wide audience that will read, right? It will be like a selected group of people. So what is the techno-economic feasibility when you write, or you write just because you want to write? There is a I like, for me it feels like for most of the author the economic actualization of the process is never full, or they think that it doesn't give you that return, to be very frank, when you write. So how do you take this, or are you involved in different projects, or what do you do for like that you make it more sustainable, that it doesn't uh, help you track on a different path and you be on the side of writing always?
Yeah, that's the fact. You cannot depend upon literature. I mean, you cannot depend upon your writing skills for the economic purpose. It's
Yes.
really tough because it is independable, because you will not get that amount of like revenue so that you
Yeah.
can continue your livelihood. So I've already planned for it. Like I'm never gonna leave this, but future I'm gonna do my PhD, and that's what my planning is. I just want to be a professor in English.
So now your new projects that you were talking about, the books, the upcoming books that you are doing, I think lockdown was a good period to plan these things. And because you have to be in isolation, and then your thought process can be very active in this period.
Yeah.
Many people take it as a challenge to survive, but I have met many authors and writers, they took it as an opportunity, and also a cartoonist, that they took it as a opportunity to dwell deep into their creative inside, and dig deep and come up with really marvelous work. So let's talk about your future projects, and what are those and how they are upcoming. Yeah.
So my future project is like, there are two different projects.
Yeah.
One will be based on short stories. 12 short stories will be compiled in one book, and other will be a complete book. Like it will be a short book of 400 pages, It is completely based on spirituality. Like because I'm into that, like I'm into spirituality, I'm into
Yeah.
like spirituality is completely different term from religion based. Like
Yeah,
it's
sure.
completely, yeah, it's self consciousness. So
Yes.
that's what I want to reveal in my that
Hmm.
project, which is based on spirituality.
Yeah, something like we have Robin Sharma writing The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's kind of like a self journey of some guy who comes to know the different aspects in
yeah.
his journey. Yeah, those books are, I think, sometimes very very helpful for others. So are you into writing some children books, or are you only on the novel and story type, or have you thought of that? Because I think there is a lack of good writers who can write good contents for kids.
So I had gotten an opportunity to write a children's story.
Yeah.
So I'm working on it as well as like
Okay.
it's a story. Actually, it's a story related to maths plus two, I guess.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm compiling. I have not like I have not affirmed this project yet, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll think on it. I'll definitely think on it because
Mm.
I really like to diversify my writing skills in different genre.
Hmm. And let's come to a very different question. Like this area of writing, or say this path is a little bit. I would say that how do you find this gender issues related to writing, and is it a very difficult field in India to survive as a woman in the field of like this writing world, I would say, or the literature arena?
Yeah, no doubt there is discrimination a lot. Publishers also find those who are like much, uh, those who have more followers or more into social media. But
Yeah, yeah,
this is what the discrimination is based on for now.
yeah.
And there is also gender discrimination. People always downgrade a girl who is just like
No,
tailoring.
I was thinking, I was having in
Yeah,
back of my mind that
yeah, yeah,
how difficult it would have been for you to publish your first book
yeah.
when there are like a
Other,
galaxy of people around
yeah,
who have a lot of experience. First is the age, and then is
yeah.
the gender. So how does, like, how do you fight those things, or how do you not succumb to the situation, and how do you really make through this uh, path?
Yeah, it was really hard to beat. Like there were a lot of write-ups for publishers to select, but
Yeah,
uh, I just kept on fighting. Like it was a kind of what to say. It was kind of uh, like a goal based, like I have
hmm.
to do it. So
Yeah, yeah.
I kept mailing my write-ups. I kept writing my things.
Hmm.
There was a time where when I was not been selected, my many of the write-ups were rejected simultaneously, but I never left writing.
Hmm.
That phase was really difficult because
Hmm.
once you are just rejected for something, it
Hmm.
completely downgrade your
Hmm.
motivation. So but with the course of time, I just kept on moving, no matter
Hmm.
it was a faster speed, fast or slow, but I
Hmm.
kept on moving.
Hmm.
That's the important thing to do.
So let me come to one more question, that whenever we are writing a poetry, or whenever we are writing a story or a novel, we always want to convey a story, right? So they, be it a poetry, be it some kind of abstract writing that we do, we want to convey a message.
Yeah,
And sometimes it's for just for entertainment, but mostly it has a message beneath, even it's, if it is for entertainment. So uh, can you enlighten me a little bit on like the new uh, art of storytelling, that how do you go about telling a story, what happens, how do you manage to like create different kind of crest and trough and struggles, and how do you do it in the story? Means is there a pattern, or is there a style of yours that you tend to take? not like Ekta Kapoor style, that one guy is dying and then again he's appearing in another face. Like the real,
Yes.
not like the TV serials, but for an author, it's very important to tell a story. And how do you go about it, or how do you, like for a new budding person who want to who want to create a story, or who want to tell a story, or say if we want to do a workshop on the art of storytelling, how would you explain it to the people? Yes.
For me, like my style is to bring out the climax first, because people are like, first impression is the last impression, I guess.
Yes.
So the storylines of the very first storylines should be very effective, so that readers may read. And
Mm.
nowadays, people don't buy books. People directly go to like links or like ebook format. So for
Yeah.
for now, it is more beneficial to have ebook publication
Hmm.
rather to have paperback, because paperback are not like much in demand
Exactly.
now. Yeah.
Mm.
So for storytelling, my base theme is completely based in reality, but like characters should be like little interesting. Like
Hmm.
there is a love twist. There is like naughtiness bit of teenaging people, or like there is a lot of
Yeah.
like combination of things which goes on, so that reader should never get bored out of a single
Yeah. Yeah.
sentence. Yeah.
So
So,
you have some kind of a catch everywhere, so that
yeah.
it goes in a flow, and once you take a book into your hand, you want to just complete it,
Complete.
something
Yeah.
like that. So have you written anything on horror?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah, recently 2 months before, I wrote a horror story. It is like complete highway based.
Yeah.
This is also based on a real geographical area of Hazaribagh
Yes.
highway.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the highway that links to Ranchi.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that I just made a horror story between three boys who were enjoying their like bachelor party. Then they
Okay.
caught up into like something horror. So
Okay.
it's a horror base.
And what
So,
about, like, have you tried something on the comedy angle, or uh
so comedy is
that
like
that's a little bit tough job,
tough.
I
It's
would say.
really
Yes.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, comedy thing is very like tough. Like I have not yet started writing anything comedy. The thing is weak in me. I have to write it, but I will just prepare myself.
Okay, let me ask a very different question. Say
Yeah.
you have seen different peoples in Hazaribagh, and different kind of characters who are there, I would say. And since you are based geographically, your story is almost so. If you have to craft a story or a struggle of someone who is from in and around Hazaribagh, do you think there are some real life characters that you can focus on?
No doubt. Like it's, I have written those stories of a complete struggle of middle class family, like how uh, middle class girls or boys, how he or she fights for for anything which
Yeah.
like motivates him or her,
Mm.
until and unless it gives a lot of revenue. Like it's a struggle of like
Hmm.
middle class society. So I
Mm.
have written a story on it. It is also based on three. It is also based on two characters, one male and one female, depending
Hmm.
upon, and both the stories are different, are in different aspect. Like
Mm.
both, well, this is a story in one book, but like have different aspects.
Okay. Okay. So if say somebody who aspires to be a writer, or who thinks that he has something to give in form of writing, what message do you want to give for them? Like, you are young and you have paved, at least you have covered some difficulties, and you have crossed the way to a point where you are being well recognized among your peers, and you have published. So, and not only published, but most of your poetry or your literature work are getting awards, and they are being well recognized. So in this scenario, if I ask your suggestions for say the young people who are into any academic discipline, but they have a flair for writing. For them, what do you want to say?
So never stop. The first thing is never to stop, because stopping makes complete full stop to your ambition, your anything. So
Yeah.
you have to keep going, no matter you're going fast or slow, no matter you're getting awards or not, no matter anybody is reading you or not.
Mm.
If you are having thought, you should write,
Mm.
no matter it's right or wrong.
Mm.
Initially, I too made a lot of mistake, a lot of grammatical mistake, a lot of scenarical mistake. There
Mm.
are, but with the course of time, you will get your mistakes. You will find that you can do it better and better,
Mm.
even if there is no recognition out of it. Because keep going is the biggest sort full, like one sort solution
Yeah.
to just go
that
on.
that I also feel that it's important that you continue writing irrespective
Yeah,
of whether you have an audience or not.
not
It's for your own thing that you
yeah,
write.
yeah.
And let me ask you, like, there will be many people around you who would be like, some would encourage you to do this and some will say that, what are you doing? It doesn't lead you to anywhere.
Yeah.
So how has been your family in this whole situation? Is it like they are also in dilemma that which way your career will go, or like they are completely okay, whatever you want to do, we are standing like a wall behind you?
There is little bit tough to.
Yeah.
There was little bit tough to convince
Yes.
them
Mm.
for this this field, because this will not give me enough revenue. This will not give me economical support. But gradually, when they recognize about the fact that I'm doing good in it, so they are behind me. I'm like okay with everything. They are supporting me.
Mhm. So, okay, before we close the session, is there something important that you want to share, or you want to bring upon, like some of your poetry or writing? It will be a pleasure to hear from you. Yes.
So this year in 2021, I received like the first Samman
Yeah.
from Kolkata. Kolkata,
Congratulations.
thank
Yeah.
you so much. And at 2020, I received World Most Influential Award from Spirit Mania.
Mm-hmm.
So these all are related to my like poem or selection of stories.
Yeah.
And this is an international award which I got for World Poetic Star from
Mm-hmm.
Kazakhstan. Uh, I would like to read one of my favorite poem
Yeah.
from
Please go
the
ahead. Yes.
from the journal,
Yeah.
international journal Deshka, which was
Mm-hmm.
also published in Kolkata. So I would like to read.
Is it in
So
Hindi or English?
no, in Hindi I have not yet started
Okay.
actually.
So
I
go
will
ahead.
start. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So
I was poor in English, but I know now a little bit. Yes.
that happens.
Yeah.
So the title of the poem is Cursed Night.
Mm.
My moon glows less tonight. Through the pricking bushes it hides on its flight. You are silver with hopeful ray. Why are you dull in the night play? I am of the trees, of the ocean, of the tempting bosom of motion, with the guilt of mark forever embarked, but that was not much for me to escape and part. Curses of a poor girl on the night, she screams to me, help me or lower your light. On my full-faced night, I ignored my pain, kept quiet in hand's more luminous game. Weak on fights from the boy, she left her curse on the bright night. So this is a poem based on it is completely feminist poem.
Mm.
The title of the poem is Cursed Night, and it was that time when I wrote about the current situation of that time. Like it
Mm.
was uh, when uh, when uh, when uh, when the Nirbhaya case was
Oh,
resolved
yes.
that day.
Yes.
That
Okay.
so that
Mm-hmm.
point of time, I wrote this poem, and this poem was selected for international journal that is Deshka.
Mm-hmm.
So this was my favorite poem at that time because it was all emotions that I put in.
Yeah. So before we close the session, any last word that you want to say to all the audience out listening to you, that your message in a situation where COVID is not yet gone, I would say, and there are chances where you can brush your creativity, write something, and do something. So, uh, a message
So
for everyone out there. Yes. Yeah.
So I would really like to say that whatever your creativity is, whatever you are into it, like be it be like cooking or singing or dancing or anything, just grab this moments, because until you are safe, you can do anything. So
Yes. Great.
stay safe and be creative in your
Hmm.
own way.
Yeah.
That's
Stay safe, be creative, and do do join us tomorrow to listen to Subhasis Das and his rendition of his poetry in both English and Hindi. And I'm eagerly waiting for that event to happen. Thank you, Pratiksha, for joining us today.
Thank you
And I
so
wish you
much.
all the luck for your future projects and hope to see some of your writing. Maybe I can read it here through Amazon or something. So, till then, bye.
Thank you so much. Stay safe.
Bye bye. See you
Bye.
soon.